Introducing the Parameta Bliss Podcast, a show dedicated to unraveling the mysteries of achieving optimal health naturally as you transition into perimenopause and menopause. Get ready to join your host, Dr. Seth Yates, an experienced naturopathic doctor, acupuncturist, and kinesiologist, as he shares his wealth of knowledge acquired from over 40,000 patient visits and 15 years in working with perimenopausal females. Welcome to the Parameta Bliss Podcast.
Hey, this is Doc Yates. Welcome to the Parameta Bliss Podcast, brought to you by PerimentalBliss.com and AbleHealth.us. And today I want to talk about optimizing the back 40. In golf, I guess they'd refer to it as the back 9. In country, they call it the back 40, like the back 40 acres. But I'm not talking about acres or golf. If you're listening to this podcast and you're interested in perimenopause, chances are you're in and around your 40s. And I want to talk about your next 40, so your next 40 years. And what can you do to optimize that to get the most out of your life during that time, or at least to move through with as little friction as possible. And from what I've seen with my clients, there's certain kind of basic key elements that you want to make sure that you have in check, and I want to go through 6 of those today. So we're going to go through 6 key steps to optimize the back 40 of your life. Mainstream medicine, basically their idea of prevention for this is they've got statins for your cholesterol, metformin for your blood sugar, and blood pressure pills for your blood pressure. And that's basically the main prevention strategies that they have. And the vast majority of the time, they are not indicated. So while I definitely do not have a crystal ball, and I realize that the clock is always ticking and none of us know what could even happen tomorrow, let alone in the next 40 years. There's certain habits, and I would really say a mindset shift and balance that I've found that clients that do really well in the second half compared to the ones that struggle and they're always uneasy. So we want to talk about the mindset and the balance that you should be aware of, because now that you're going forward with a matured mind, there's things that are more apparent to you now than they were when you were in the first half of your life. So, number 1, seek healthy relationships at work and home. I have found that the clients that struggle the most is because they don't have a safe haven. Like if their work life sucks and but their home is really good, at least they've got a break from the stress. Or if their home life is not that great and it's very stressful, but they love their work, at least then they have a break from the stress. Now, the best ones love their work and have a great home life. And those people, there's very little stress, which means that there's very little effect on adrenals, very little effect on cortisol, very little spillover to your thyroid, to your hormones. So you cannot underestimate the effect that your relationships have on you. So if you have the ability to recognize any of those toxic relationships and either correct them or move on, which means even though sometimes it means a job change. I had 2 clients yesterday that both had very successful careers who realized that it was not a healthy environment that they were working in, and they've stopped, and they've been doing so much better since, just because Sundays, they were having literally anxiety every Sunday knowing that they had to start work the next day. And if your work is affecting you that much, quit your job. Find a different job. There's no better time right now, at least at the time of making this podcast. Everybody's hiring. I'm not sure what that's going to be like in a few years, but right now, everybody's hiring. Everybody needs help. Find a different path. And then the next thing we want to talk about work is work-life balance. I do have a lot of clients who work in the sales industry, and for them, it's always about push, and it's like a pride thing. The harder you can push, the more you're just career focused, the more pride. But at the end of the day, especially if you're doing something that's not in your purpose, and we'll get into that in a moment, like another point soon. But you're literally just kind of trying to accumulate wealth for the sake. If you're just keep pushing for wealth and that's your only goal, you're never going to be satisfied. When it comes to money, money is a number, and numbers are not ending. Numbers go to infinity, which means you will always be chasing a higher number and you won't find the satisfaction that you need. So I remember, especially when you have jobs where you're trading your time for money. I remember I have a song that I put together a while ago. One of the verses was, trading all your time for money, tell me what was that worth when the driver says you can't take your purse when he comes to pick you up in the hearse. You're saving up wealth for something that, and if you're not taking good care of your health, you have to remember that your health is your wealth, and then money comes after that. Number 3, here's one of the basics, but balanced diet and a healthy weight. You don't have to have a six-pack. You don't have to have the same body you had when you were 20, but staying a healthy weight, not being overweight, staying mobile, and eating a clean diet. And again, a clean diet, it doesn't mean that you have to go like full keto or full paleo, but cut out the processed crap. The people that I've found that, especially the best thing you could do is if you can learn to cook and learn to make your own healthy meals. That is a huge step. All of the clients that I've had that are able to cook for themselves and are able to make healthy meals are much better health, much better body shape and type than their peers. Number 4, balanced exercise. Before, like I always tell people when you're first starting, just do any exercise, just do something to get moving. But when we're looking for a true balanced exercise that you want for a long-term pick going forward, generally speaking, you want to pick something that's going to give you the benefits of strength, cardio, and flexibility all built into one. Like for instance, there's a lot of clients that I had, in their 20s and 30s, they loved running, and they'd run. That was their main thing to do. They loved jogging. Now, for a lot of them, it doesn't quite work as well because it just leads to knee issues, hip issues, and they're just possibly not built for it. Maybe they haven't done enough like stabilizing exercises. But pick some exercises. An example, like yoga, I have to admit, is a very well-balanced exercise, and it could be something that you incorporate as part of your routine. Pilates is well-balanced. They have a lot of body movement and body weight balanced exercises now that are low impact that give tremendous benefits for the long term. So pick some exercise that doesn't just do strength, doesn't just do cardio, but includes strength, cardio, and flexibility. And ideally, if you're strapped for time, do something that has all of those built into it, or at least throughout the week you're getting each one of those aspects addressed. Number 5, the hierarchy between entertainment, education, and execution. Entertainment is great, and it's great after work to kind of when you're, winding things down from work, but don't get caught up wasting your time just with entertainment, watching shows, listening to things where you're literally getting no benefit except for being entertained. Part of improving yourself as you keep going, a lot of people, it's like they finished university and they're like, well, I'm done learning, and that's pretty much the peak. You should always be trying and working to better yourself, which means educating yourself. So find some things that you like. If you're going to be watching YouTube or something, find something where you're not just being entertained, but you're learning a new skill. Or instead of taking new courses, trying new things, but try to always be bettering yourself with new skills and new education. So that's the hierarchy. Education trumps entertainment, but then execution then has to trump education. Just learning those things and never executing them will not give you the same fulfillment as if you are actually using these skills in part of your role. So just being like, what I would call book smart without any application, it's not going to give you the same fulfillment of seeing these skills come into fruition and seeing them be able to help yourself and help others, which is really the ultimate stage of fulfillment, is that when you're able to use your skills to help others, that will be the most fulfilling thing for you, and you will see that. And right now, a lot of times everything becomes very self-focused. It's like, oh, do this for yourself, do that for yourself. You're learning those things for yourself, but so you can use that to benefit others, and that benefiting others even further helps yourself. It really is one of the best things for you, is to help others. Now, that's where we're getting to this final point number 6, which is your purpose. I believe that everyone was made that they really could be the best at something, because you are the best at being you, and you have a skill set unique to you that really no one else has. So that is about finding your purpose, and it might absolutely have nothing to do, probably chances are it has nothing to do with what you're currently doing, but maybe there's some aspects of what your current job or field is. And the way that you could probably figure out your purpose is it's going to be, imagine crosshairs like in a sight, and the one going up and down like vertical and the other one's horizontal, and they meet in the middle. So if the vertical crosshair, think of that as stuff that you're passionate about, things that you really love doing. And then the horizontal crosshair is things that you're really good at, really proficient at. And where they meet in the middle, somewhere in there, is going to be something that is your purpose, something that you were specifically is the perfect thing for you. It's where your passion meets your proficiency is where you're going to find your purpose. And when you find and you keep moving towards your purpose, and if you use that purpose to use it to help other people, the second half of your life will be the best half, because you've got 40 years of experience combined with passion and proficiency to fulfill your purpose and helping others. That is where you're going to find the most fulfilling part of your life. So, this is Doc Yates. I hope this was helpful. I'm signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to the Paramena Bliss podcast. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and visit paramenobliss.com for more valuable information on how you can thrive during your transition through perimenopause. Join our community of like-minded women who are dedicated to achieving optimal health naturally, and stay up to date with the latest tips, tricks, and advice from Dr. Seth Yates. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Paramena Bliss podcast.